4 minutes closer to God. My name is Doug. Last video I talked about Jesus' transfiguration, how he, in front of his disciples, showed his true nature by turning up the dial on his wattage, so to speak, so he radiated light before them. He came to us out of God's presence, Philippians 2, 6, and 7, who, existing in the form of God, did not consider equality with God something to be exploited, but he emptied himself, taking the form of a servant, being made in human likeness. Being found in appearance as a man, he humbled himself and became obedient to death, even death on a cross. The question of what he emptied himself, certainly one of the things he did was turn down the dimmer switch on his radiance. So he was walking around without a distinct advantage over the Pharisees and the demonic beings who could see him in the spiritual realm and recognize his light and that he was the Son of God. But in walking around with humans who weren't so endowed with spiritual insight, he appeared as a man. And so in the Transfiguration, Jesus revealed who he truly was, but he was not the first to radiate light in that way. John Chrysostom talks about Adam and Eve being clothed with garments of light. So the garment of light was what they wore prior to their fall, and when that winked out, when they lost all the radiance, they knew they were naked and they were ashamed, because they would regularly meet and be in the presence of God. They knew that they no longer glowed, so to speak, and so that glow of holiness wasn't with them. And so they hid and put on fig leaves, and God said, no, we need garments of skin. And so God did that. The interesting thing is that garments of light and garments of skin sound alike. And it's just a different first letter, an ayin versus an aleph, if you want to get technical. John Chrysostom, while sin and disobedience did not yet come on the scene, Adam and Eve were clad in that glory from above, which caused them no shame. But after breaking the law, that entered the scene, both shame and awareness of their nakedness. Adam and Eve radiating light before the fall is tied to an idea that they originally lived in a state of special spiritual glory, sometimes described as an inner light that showed in and through their body. Moses, for his part, went up to be with God and commune with him, but also to get the 10 Commandments. So Exodus 34, 29 and 30 shows Moses descended from Mount Sinai with 2 tablets of the testimony in his hands. As he descended the mountain, he did not realize that the skin of his face shone as a result of his speaking with the Lord. When Aaron and all the Israelites saw Moses, the skin of his face shone, and they were afraid to come near him. He might be radioactive, I guess. So Adam and Eve, Jesus and Moses all were radiant beings because of their presence with God, and so we have that to look forward to, because in our glorified state we will very likely radiate as well, because we will be in the unimpeded presence of God and without sin and shame. A time I look forward to.